Welcome to Taking Care of Your Music Business, brought to you by the Mechanical Licensing Collective, also known as the MLC. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into the heart of the music industry, exploring how to get paid as a creative, making sure that you're receiving all the royalties you deserve. We'll also dive into building a sustainable career, sharing strategies and best practices that creators can use to achieve long-term success. Join us as we bring you interviews with top songwriters and music executives who share their personal journeys and professional wisdom on thriving in the business, all while making a living. So get ready for some real talk about navigating the music industry. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and be sure to catch all of our full episodes on YouTube.
Welcome back to the MLC's podcast, Taking Care of Your Music Business. In this episode, we're bringing you a special fireside chat, Rights, Royalties, and Resilience, a conversation about what it really means to be your own CEO as a creator. I'm joined by visionary artist and entrepreneur Dawn Richard, live from NOLA Music Con, as we explore creative independence, understand your rights, and how songwriters and artists can turn streaming into sustainable income.
Hi, friends. What's going on, y'all? I love New Orleans. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Jamie Dominguez, and I'm here with the MLC, the Mechanical Licensing Collective. Do y'all know about the MLC? Has anyone heard of us? Okay, good, because we're all over your lanyards, so I hope you know by now. But I'm so happy and excited because we have the fabulous Dawn Richard. Do you say Richard?
It's Richard.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. That's how I've been saying
No,
it.
that's good.
And she's going to share her incredible journey as a songwriter and an entrepreneur and just a multi-hyphenate baddie that I find extremely inspiring, and your story is so important. So we're going to share all of that. We have a Dawn doubleheader today because
I'm back to back.
got back-to-back sessions. But your next one is going to be focusing more on, I think, your songwriting craft
And advocacy, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to just get into the biz and talk about your journey because it's so important. But I'll just do a quick little PSA about the MLC and get that out of the way because it is important. And, for those of you who are songwriters, it's extremely important because it's another way you make money, and making money is important. It's not the sexiest topic. It's not necessarily why you get into songwriting, but making a living doing what you love and making money while doing it is sexy, right?
I think it's sexy.
I think it's sexy.
Yeah.
So we are a nonprofit organization. We came about after they passed the Music Modernization Act. The U.S. Copyright Office designated us to collect your streaming mechanical royalties. So what that means is every time your music is streamed on a platform like Apple Music or Spotify or Amazon Music, any platform in the U.S. that is streaming your songs, you are entitled to receive royalties from those performances. And this is on the publishing side. So as a songwriter, it's really important that you register with the MLC so you can collect your royalties. If you have a publishing deal or an administration deal, then they will be collecting on your behalf, so you don't need to register directly with us, but I encourage all of you. We have this new part of our website called the Songwriter Hub, where you can create an account and you can actually take a look at your catalog. So let's start from the beginning, and your days, with making the band and how that all came about. Once you sort of became a member of Danity, Kane, well, were you writing songs at the time? Was that part of the deal when you entered into that situation?
It's a great question. Okay, so I'll give you the short version of how my journey is. In New Orleans, I was already a writer. My father is Frank Richard from Chocolate Milk, which is a 70s funk band that is really popular here in New Orleans. If you know the song Groove City and you have not heard it, you should hear it. It's awesome, and my dad wrote it. He wrote many of the songs from Chocolate Milk, and he's also the lead singer. Shout out to you, Dad, I love you. But in that, when I decided I wanted to do music, because music wasn't the first choice. My parents are both educators as well, so academia in the home was music is cute, but you go be a doctor or a lawyer. Like, that was the consensus. But when I decided I wanted to do music, I started writing immediately. So my first album, Angelique, is my middle name, was written by me and my dad. And I was already writing here in New Orleans. I was trying all the different things to be able to move in New Orleans, but I had exhausted all possibilities here. And I was a pop electro girl in New Orleans. There was no space for a girl like me. And I was different, and everyone knew it, but it didn't stop me. I would, be in between Weeby and Hot Boy Rano, and my little pop moment would pop right in between. It didn't make any sense in the programming, but it worked, right? But I was writing. When making the band happened, there was no shows coming here. New Orleans wasn't popular. We had No Limit, we had Hot Boys. We had Tidra Moses, but the most pop we had was Britney Spears from Kentwood, Louisiana, right? So no one was coming here. I had to go to either Orlando or Atlanta to try out for a show. Before I got in the line, they gave us a contract. I repeat, before I got in the line, they said in order for you to try out, you had to sign a contract for your publishing and your record label. Exactly.
Did you even know what that meant?
No, I'm 18, 19 years old. We don't get shots. And here's a shot. I was dancing in the NBA as a honeybee at the time, now the Pelicans. What was my options? Keep working the circuit in New Orleans as a pop girl in a rap bayou-centric world, or get the opportunity to maybe have the opportunity of a lifetime? So you sign it. I made the band, yay! But the reality is you've signed your entire journey away, right? Not only did I sign myself into a label, I was signed to a thing called Janice Combs Publishing, which was at the time Puff's mom's name, and I was under a publishing name. So I would now get on a label, and I had as a songwriter, my publishing would already be on something that I had no power over. It's pretty incredible how this works in the business, but that's a real thing. So that's how I got into it. But when we got in the group, they didn't want us to write. They were like, you're going to do the show, and we're going to give you all the tools, and you're not going to write, because no label wants your first artist to be a great writer, right? No, we want to control it. We would then, as a girl group, sell insane numbers because of the show. They didn't even think we would sell. They said, we're only going to ship out 100,000 copies because y'all not going to do better than that. We sold that in a day. So then they had to hurry up and figure that out. We would then go and be number one, and then we said, if we do a second album, all we ask is, could we write? We were writers. He then said, well, if you write, Puff would say, if you write a song, I'm going to pick to see who's the better writer. All y'all just write some songs and submit it. And of that, only my songs were picked. And so I would then go on to write on the second album, which would be Welcome to the Dollhouse.
And did you receive writing credit for those songs?
We got writing credit as in our names on the album, but the royalties would come later because we were signed under Janice Combs Publishing. So we wouldn't see, it was just crazy, right? We wouldn't see the royalties because it wasn't coming to us in that way. And so as an artist who had been a writer, who had come from my father, I knew that didn't make sense, right? We were writing, but we weren't seeing the money. And I started to question, well, what is publishing in this space, and how do I figure out how to get paid? Because as of right now, we weren't getting our publishing. Everything was going to and through Janice Combs Publishing.
So you're not seeing any publishing money. I mean, well, you are.
We're seeing it. It ain't coming.
Yeah, because this is the other part of the industry that's, there's a lot of gatekeeping.
It's brutal, yeah.
A lot of gatekeeping, no transparency.
Nope.
So by the time the money actually gets to you,
it's filtered through many different people. And here's the fun part about writing, and I'm being sarcastic. There are other elements to it, right? When you have a label that says, you're a writer, but also I want to pick the producers. And if you get big producers, then you start to talk about splits. So you can write a whole song, but then if you're writing with Pharrell or Swiss Beats or someone like that, you get your splits back, and you're like, what? I thought I was 100%. Now it's who's Veronica and who's Billy and who, there's like 95 people that are a part of that you didn't even know of. So the splits get really interesting, so they start shaving down your numbers. So now you have to realize as a writer, you got to fight for your splits. You got to fight for your space in your writing so that when you do get your royalties and your residuals, it's something that you can live off of. So these are things that I'm learning that I didn't know. You know, I'm writing with the girls and I'm like, ooh, I'm writing, but then I'm realizing, oh, Rodney Jerkins is the producer.
So let's go back to that, because this is something that's super important. You know, my days in my career have always been with the songwriter. Before the MLC, I was at CSAC for 19 years and on the creative side, and was constantly, you know, having these conversations with them about the importance of advocating for yourself and fighting for your splits, and making sure the splits are even negotiated and agreed upon before the song comes out.
Exactly.
So I get this question all the time because I think as creators, it's not, you know, natural for you to want to have this conversation in the studio. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable. How did you navigate that at the time? I mean, you went through a lot before you got to that point, I'm sure.
Yeah, we couldn't. Danity Kane, we couldn't negotiate anything. It was not that. But I can lean into, when I got to my independence, I had so much know-how because it was so incredibly gnarly. You know, like every time something would happen, I'd be like, I got this. No, hard nose here, hard nose here. When I did get to a place, immediately after we have a session, I'll connect with my producer. And already I'm developing a relationship with my producer. It's not just a producer. I'm going to know the producer that I'm working with. I'm curating that experience every time we talk. We're developing a relationship so that we're talking beyond just the song. Right. And then I'm also, at the time I didn't have a manager or a team, so I was playing both avenues of that. I had a separate email from my manager. I was separate, talking differently when I was communicating with the team of the management, to act like I was a different person to be able to negotiate it. But I was doing that during the sessions as we were building, so that by the time we finished our record, we knew where each person stood. We knew what points were. I didn't even know what points were before. I knew what I knew what the understanding of mastering was. And my biggest thing was not only doing the publishing part of it, but also the sync part of it. So we were already talking about, okay, and if this gets synced, this is who we're going to have a contact for. This is how many points, and this is who's going to own the masters for that. So I knew by the time I was finishing that song, and it was going to the mix, we knew we had all of that squared away beforehand. Even registering the song, while I was registering the song when the title came. Like when I was writing the song, I was registering the song. So we're doing that all in the process. So while I'm sitting in the studio writing, I'm recording, and then when he's polishing and I'm doing the corporate work there, so that we know this. And I think that transparency went a long way with me, which is why I was able to work every album I did independently with a different producer, and it'd be beautiful. I've worked with never one album the same producer, and that's very difficult to do and manage your sound and keep your sound. And each one was critically acclaimed. Each one a different, completely different, but it was because of that transparency and learning from the craziness of the beginning of the mainstream journey that I had, that I refused to make the same mistake that I had prior. So though I have to take that L, and I took many going into that mainstream journey, I refused to take those L's as an independent artist.
So
an independent songwriter.
Yeah, I mean, so what was the turning point when you figured out that ownership is like invaluable to you, and surviving as an artist and a creator? What was the turning point in that journey when you were like, okay, I gotta do this on my own terms, I gotta own my rights, I wanna do everything independently?
Well, we can't go into when that, it got bad for me in my mainstream journey, and I had to make a choice to leave it. But one of the larger things that I never really told this to anybody, so I'll give this gem here, because everyone publicly knows how bad it was. It's obvious, right? But beyond that, I started doing mathing. The math wasn't mathing, y'all. Like, I started looking at, like, okay, if Danity Kane sold 4 million copies these albums, right? And if I wrote that, I started mathing it. And then I was like, this isn't making, if I'm making And then I was looking at my account and I was like, I don't like it. It's, right? And that's when I realized I can't blame anyone but me that I'm not raising hell over this. You know what I mean? I knew I couldn't raise hell to that person because God forbid. But what I did know is, again, the next time I do this, if I can get out of this, I negotiated my own masters.
Wow.
That was my biggest thing. It was, if I could get out of this, if I can come out with owning my music, I'll leave. Broke. Leave broke. That was important to me as a songwriter. I knew, I was looking at the numbers and the math wasn't mathing, and I was like, I have to be able to live off of my writing. Mm-hmm. That was the turning point. And that moving forward would then be the compass for me when I moved as an independent artist, as a brand, was I want to be able to be a one-stop in my syncing. And they were talking about that yesterday about being a one-stop, where someone, and that means they can go to you directly. They know it's easy for you to get your sync. Easy. Like I wanted to be that. And I wanted to be able to create music as a songwriter where I was able to negotiate my splits. I was able to negotiate how I wanted to move with the producer. I wanted all of that autonomy because I had none of it. And that was the dream, and that turning point would become, it navigated the compass for my career, and it would make my independent journey one of the most incredible journeys, and really unorthodox for a lot of people. It's just so unconventional, because it would lead me to Adult Swim, it would lead me to syncing, and it would lead me to curating a career that I don't think I ever saw, and I don't think anyone did for myself. Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I think is so important to note, is that you have multiple business verticals now.
Specifically as a songwriter.
And it all, the core of that is, the foundation of that is owning
ownership. It's ownership, and being able to understand not just owning it, but all the avenues and ways in which you can make money. Because what they'll limit you as a songwriter is they say you got to get into that old-fashioned concept of, you know how you win is you got to meet with 737 producers a day and then try to make that hit. And if you get the hit, then you get paid. There are so many avenues: jingles, commercials, gaming, syncing. One of the coolest ways I made money, y'all, as an artist, as a songwriter, was Adult Swim cultivated really interesting music. That was one of the places you could find the cool kids, right? Like Flying Lotus was one of my favorite artists, and that's how I found Flying Lotus, was through Adult. All the nerds in the back are like, yeah, you was what, you a geek, I'm a geek. But I'm saying that's how I found it. You know what I mean? It's the truth. Like, I mean, also Thundercat. You know what I mean? They like, yeah, Serpent with a Feet. Like, these were like cool artists that like I found through Adult Swim. Mm-hmm. And what I found was, I was trying to figure out autonomy for myself as a songwriter, and no one would touch me. I was blackballed. Once I left Bad Boy, no one would touch me. Puff blocked that. So what happened was, what mainstream didn't know about was the cool kids, was the nerds, and that was me. So I went to Adult Swim and said I'd love to license this music, and I was making really unorthodox music that a girl from a girl band would never make. They were just like, why are you making this music? And I was like, it's so me. And they thought it was cool, and so they gave me a shot. I made 10 grand in like 5 seconds just working with them. I was like, ooh, this money is, and then the residuals I was getting, I was like, ooh, because it would play on the bumps at night on Adult Swim. So I was like, ooh, this feels real good. And I started doing that often, and I was making more money than I made in Danity, Kane, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't fathom that when we were selling more. But it was because I had the ownership. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to teach myself to animate, and then ask if I could animate on, like, as an independent contractor, and then I would put my music on those bumps. So I was getting paid twice. And then they would get royalties for that. So not only was I getting royalties for the music, but I was getting royalties for the actual animated bump. If no one could have told me that would be my rent, that would sustain me. And that's what I mean by, that's just one way, like being able to be on FIFA or Madden, like gaming. No one said it, but gaming became, and this was places that the mainstream wasn't looking. I wasn't getting blackballed there because they wasn't looking over there. Right. And before you knew it, people didn't tell you gaming that plate, they bought, that's all. It's like, and if you get on like a playlisted gaming where it's a game that comes out like Madden you're winning because they love you. Once they love you and it's easy and you're a one-stop, you're in.
Yeah.
And then if you look at someone like an MLC, and you look at these Avenue Sound Exchange, MLC, or these places that protect you, the MLC was godsend for me, because all those streaming little platforms that you don't know about, you start seeing that money just roll on in. And then you realize, okay, this is what ownership looks like. This is what controlling my songwriting platforms, this is what it looks like. And then you can go to like your publishing companies if you want to, because you don't have to. You don't have to even sell it if you don't want, but if you choose to, then you can go to your publishing companies and say, I know that I normally would sell my publishing, but maybe I want to do an admin deal, and this is the reason why. Look at my worth over here. Look at all my numbers. And then you can up negotiate with somebody, because you're a first timer, it wouldn't normally get, but because your numbers look so damn good, they might even give you an admin deal because of the amount of numbers you're having or what you're making with something like the MLC. So it gets really fun. That's, to me, the sexy stuff.
It is sexy.
When that check comes in looking good.
Yeah, who doesn't love a check? Money you make in your sleep.
In your sleep.
That's the dream, you know, that's how it works.
Huh?
Come
on.
Mailbox money.
Boop, boop.
It's not so much mailbox money anymore. It's direct deposit and
right.
Venmo.
Exactly. It's
and
the
whatever
good
it
stuff.
is.
It's the good stuff. Yeah.
Instantaneous money.
Yeah.
But do you have a publishing partner or an admin partner?
I do. Crazy story with that, I told you in the back, is Kobalt. Mind you, no one would sign me. Again, I had all these songs and I couldn't get a dream. But in that, I also say this to say for songwriters, sometimes your journey won't be immediate. You'll meet a publisher and maybe your time isn't right now. You'll pitch and maybe they'll turn you down. I knew Kobalt 15 years ago, and I had a song called Bulletproof that I was writing while I was doing Dirty Money. I didn't know this. I found this out 15 years later, but Gaga and Madonna were fighting for the song. Did not know this, and Puff called and stopped it, nipped it. Didn't know that, but 15 years later, my independent journey was doing so well that they were like, we'd love to give you an admin deal. And I said, oh my God, and I said, you're crazy. I went to y'all and y'all didn't want to sign me. And then she said, well, let me tell you why. And it was so wild to me that I didn't have that shot then, but it wasn't for me then. For whatever reason, it wasn't time. But I got it on my own terms, on my own independent journey. I was able to get an admin deal negotiated for it to work for me. And that was through Kobalt. So it took me 15 years to get to the place that I was supposed to be at. And even though it was stopped, it wasn't, because God is such a good God that it came on his time. But yes, I do, and it's with Kobalt, and it's been a good collaboration. And most of my journey has come from the nerd world. Yeah.
Well, and
the gaming and the Adult Swim and in the sinks. Most of my journey is like my wins have been coming from the world that most people wouldn't think.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really exciting.
Which means that, your streaming can come from many different, songwriters have so much opportunity. It's just the labels, and sometimes even your publishers don't tell you. And okay, maybe they're not supposed, maybe they're supposed, but even if they don't, I don't think that's a blaming thing. I think you need to then say, okay, well then I'll do it myself. You become your own cheerleader and you find your ways. And then when you're shining beautifully, then they'll come. And don't take it personally. This is the game. Mm-hmm. Don't take it personally. Let them come in when you're winning. But either way, you're winning. Long as you know that, long as you know your worth, and when you get your things in your places, when it's time to renegotiate, your shoulders are back because the numbers are numbering for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's, something that gets lost is that you're part of the conversation. You have the leverage as a songwriter. They wouldn't be a business. They wouldn't have, the platform if they didn't have all of the IP, mm-hmm. right?
Correct.
You own that. You wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding how it all works in the back end mm-hmm. is so important, because then you can be an activist. You can advocate for yourself. You can fight for what is yours mm-hmm. rightfully. But this is it should be collaborative, and I think that was an important point you made about having an administrator. That mm-hmm. it's a great collaboration mm-hmm. because you're not just letting them take the car out for a spin and never coming back. Mm-hmm. You actually are making sure there's tune-ups and making sure the car's
It's like
being
anything else.
maintained.
Exactly. That's a great analogy. You have to. It's not just you have to cultivate and build and touch and get things fixed. And you need that team. You need that support system. And I would encourage songwriters to, again, community is key. The more songwriters, the more producers, the more administrators you have in your corner, like looking out for your holes, because some things you can see, but some things you can't catch. Like the MLC catches things I can't see. I could be all the administrator out in the world, and trust me, my manager is in the building right now, and I know, like, I feel so bad because sometimes I be over administrating. Like, I gotta like pull back a bit, but it's because I'm so used to doing it. But the good thing about a team, and I will go down this hill, I will like die on this hill. I hate saying that because I don't want to die, but I'm just saying, I'm saying that to say collective, having people be your left and your right and your back is crucial, because you can't catch everything. Yeah. You may think you that person, but doing it on your own. Somebody in the last one was like, I'm my own. I'm doing everything on my own. I was that person. I am that person. You can only go ceiling. But when you have things like the MLC, when you understand it, learn everything, but then get the team around you, a good one that fights for you in that way, and they'll find every hole. And before you know it, you'll be making money from corners of the world you didn't even know. You'll be like, Vietnam, I was streaming over there. Let's get it. All right, 2 cents. And let that come on. And you know, like, because you be seeing it. You know what I'm talking about? Because you be seeing, sometimes I get a check for like 50 cents. And I'm like, woo, for that one little bit.
But it adds up.
It all adds up. It all adds up.
It's like finding your little stashes of money in all these little corners.
Yeah, it's like you get a $2,000 check and then you get like a 16-cent check, and you're like,
the jacket you didn't wear since last winter, or you put it on, you're like, oh, there's $10 in this pocket.
Yeah, it works. All those things work, but it also gives you, sometimes it's even not about the money, it's about the feeling of, I get to see that. It's a record of me knowing it's moving. The work I'm doing is moving, and that just gives you incentive to say, okay, I got to do bigger, get bigger. Let me go home. Let me try more things. It's just inspiration to know that the residual upkeep, it's happening. Right. That you're getting it from these different places. Yeah. Right.
And how do you make sure that you're not leaving any money on the table? Are there ways that you sort of what are your sort of like tools and resources? How do you stay on top of all this stuff? How do you stay up to date and learn, because this industry is constantly evolving and changing, and I learn things every single day that I'm like, I had no idea. You know, there's too much to learn all the time, and there's no one place to find all this information. So how do you, as a creator, learn?
I'm a techie. I'm a tech girl. I'm constantly figuring out what's evolving and what's coming out. I also have, again, I'm never afraid to ask questions. I'm a cold email girl. Like I like to meet people who are doing innovative things and figure out what I'm missing. I'm also a huge fan of boards. And you know, it's like I like, if I did, for example, I didn't really see myself at the Grammys when I was saying in the Recording Academy when I wanted to be a part of dance music as a black woman. And I didn't want to complain about it because I felt like it wasn't, that's just the reality of it, right? So I wanted a seat at the table. So then I went from the bottom up and I became a member of the Recording Academy. And then I got at a seat at the table. I met those people. I love those people. Now I'm on the board of the Recording Academy. And I'm going to get in that room and I'm saying, thank you. That's weird. I don't need a clap for that. I'm saying that to say, if you want the change and you want to know more, you have to, don't blame anyone, become a part of it. And then learn to shift it. Now I realize I love the Recording Academy, and the only reason why it's not there yet is because there are not enough people like that look like us. So if we get in there, we can create the change, right? It's the same thing with writing and songwriting, right? I didn't know about the MLC, but I was able to, when I was researching about royalties and mechanical royalties and what it is, the MLC popped up first. So I did the research and found out about it. Same thing with Sound Exchange. Same thing with all the avenues with Kobalt. Sony has a port, the portals that they have. Exactly, like there are many different. Then I went into blockchain and went down a rabbit hole about STEM and what that is, and some of it works, some of it doesn't, right? But I go in trying to find out what works, and then if I have questions, I'll then meet with people and have like severe meetings, like one-on-one Zooms. What is this? How does this work? And then when I don't know that, I go to my management team and they'll say, oh, you know what, I heard this is that. And then I'll talk to my favorite producers and be like, what are y'all on right now? I'll even go to tech conferences in music to see what's the next thing that's coming in 4 years. Some of those things will come to fruition like startups, some don't. But the point is, I want to know where music is going and how it's paying its artist. Because that concerns us. And if we are not just looking at what's happening now, but what's going to be in the future, we've already clipped our wings. So for me, places like the MLC is going to be the standard. That's going to be the base level. So now I'm already looking for what will be the next thing that the MLC will come up with, and other collectives that are creating similar opportunities, because autonomy and ownership will never, that need for that will never change. The demand for ownership, even in data, is key. So that will never shift, and that's how I find it. I am a constant person trying to find the research of what's going to get me paid, and safely. Safely. How do I protect my data and my music, and how do I get paid from it? That's my two that I gotta constantly figure out, because that's the way we survive as creatives. Our ownership is paramount, because the moment they take that away, we're in trouble. And if they take it away, the money goes with it. So those are my two. How do I make sure I'm always ahead of knowing, and what are those platforms and those spaces? And sometimes I'm trying to figure out, how do I build my own to be a part of the next level, right? And that's the fun part about being a techie, is maybe I can build my own app or something. But the reality is, that's what happens, is you try to find ways in which you make sure you know all the avenues your business, your songwriting, your brand can make money.
You're a woman after my own heart. I want to take you everywhere with me. You'll make my job so much easier.
No, I want to. I only by trial and error. I didn't wake up and be like, It was brutal.
It takes work.
I lost a lot of money.
It's hard work.
It's hard work. You lose a lot of L's. But those L's turn into wins, right? Like the Saints right now, you know what I mean? Hopefully this will lead to whatever it is. Maybe that first draft next time we get us something good.
But there's so many things. I love what you said in there.
You're laughing.
Yeah. Well, yes. It resonates. It resonates. But that's, I think there's something else you said. There's a few things I want to sort of put exclamation points next to. The activism, advocacy role that you have to play in your career. You're now a member of the Recording Academy on the board. I'm also on the board in New York. The change has to come from within the community. It has to. All hands on deck. Everyone has to participate. You can't complain about the system and not actively try to change the system. And you are embodying that. And I love that this is why we do this, because we're trying to get everybody amped up. We want everybody to feel inspired to walk out of this room to do your part. Everybody has to do their part.
Yeah, because it's not just about you. I can't go and be I hated being with Puff, and then I don't change that. Yeah. Who am I if I say I went through all that bad stuff and then I don't help an artist never go through that again? That's whack. That's whack to go through all of that and then say, I just want to make money and get out of here. No, I want to change the way. I don't want that girl to ever get in the line again and have to go through that. I want her to be able to go and look at that line and say, I got options. I don't really have to do that line because I own my own music. I own my own, I want that. That's the difference. And if I can get one artist to feel that, it was worth me getting that dumbass line. Yeah. Because though I'm grateful for my journey, it was a wild one. But that was my story. I want to see if I can give somebody else a different one. And the only way to do that is to not complain about it, is to change it. And you got to shift it at the table. At the table. And the table don't come easy. They don't want nobody at that table. Some of that table is gate kept. But it's changing. It's changing.
It is changing. And it's because people like us are on the inside, and we bring in more people, and soon you have a very diverse,
it's changing,
more equitable utopia that we're going to create. I'm just kidding.
No, but it's real. It's happening. Because I'm looking at Nate. It's changing. My team, my people are changing it, and I'm looking next one, I'm like, ooh, this looks so good, and the conversations are getting better, and the leaders are looking flyer. Because at first it was like, y'all look, I don't belong in this room.
I mean,
it's a lot of khaki.
Look at us.
In
We're
this room.
sitting here right now.
They be in that khaki with that blazer. Blazer and khaki. But that now it's looking good. It's got fringe and boots. I'm like, okay, we're shifting.
And piercings.
We got piercings and tattoos. I'm like, okay, it's looking a little better now. So shifting.
And the fact, we're here. We're extremely, diverse and different, and from different backgrounds, and two women sitting on the stage talking about this journey, and it's different. It means something, right?
And you can be a part of it too. You can be a part of it too, and it doesn't matter whether you're signed or if you are doing it alone. You can do it. It's possible. Is it hard work? Hell yes. Is it difficult? Will you get no's every damn day? But that yes, when it come, ooh, it look good, and you appreciate it, and you don't take it for granted, and that's the part that is worth it.
Yeah, and so community is so important. Supporting each other, educating each other, sharing the information. I'm going to go back to something nerdy because
we love
nerdy. You talked about data.
Yeah.
This is something that we're always trying to drive home to all the creators, because if you want to get paid, you have to, the metadata part is non-negotiable. Because, now everybody wants to talk about AI, blah, 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 right? But what is so fundamental, technology is going to keep advancing. How you get paid is always going to go back to the metadata attached to whatever that recording is. So let's talk about that a little bit, because, just simple things. And I've seen it when I was at CSAC, song registry, looking at people's song registrations, and there's a misspelling or, little things like that. That's going to affect your entire future. Your entire future. One stupid little misspelling, right? Not having, making sure the credits are right. Your share, your percentages, making sure that everything lines up. All of these things. Do you manage that? Like, I know you have an administrator, but at the same time, it's like human error, data entry. Like,
I'm laughing because I'm making an album right now, and my management team is here, and we're going through that right now. Reed laughed hard. No one gets it good. I try my best. I think I have a great lawyer. Again, I'm trying to learn from my mistakes, and so with my team, I just got new management, and me and my lawyer went through. We're doing it first, so I gave it all my information. We did it in a contract. I gave everything already done to my management team. So again, spelling, names, splits, all of it. We tried to give it to them all as one. I know that the administrative part is just like, it's Rubik's Cube to creatives. We hate it. I promise you, if you do the work in your process, it will help you on the end part, right? And again, having your management team or an assistant or someone do it is always a great concept. But if you can't do that, I implore you to, as you're doing it, talk to your producers. What's your full name? What's your publisher company? You with BMI? The conversations you're having in the studio, I know you're not having that. I know y'all getting high, having y'all best life. Write that stuff down. You know what I mean? I know you're smoking. You're like, oh, this is great. But the administrative part needs to happen. Regardless, you got your laptop, you writing your lyrics just on the side while you're there, get the information, get the name, get their publishing. What's your manager's name? You have a contact, you have a lawyer, because I think like those things, because she is, when I say, and I also, this is one of the things I think is important, your IPI number, like, have that thing like it's your social security.
That is your social security number as a songwriter.
You know what I'm saying? Know that thing by heart. Have that thing in like right next to your Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yeah. It's true. It's so true, though.
You laughing, but I'm serious. I'm serious. Have it. Know it on hand.
That's right. Because once your name is, nobody cares about your name. Once the song is in the metaverse or whatever we were calling it now, they don't care about your name. That's not who's getting paid. they care about your IPI number.
IPI, baby, had that
That's
thing
all it
in
is.
there. And so then you know it, you know about heart, you can facilitate it to others, and then every time, it's so funny, this is a great story. No, y'all don't even know this. When I met Machine Drum, I did an album with Machine Drum. He's a really dope underground dance DJ, incredible, and producer. When I met him, we did our whole album via online. We didn't even see each other. It was just crazy. And we were talking one day, and he was telling me about his cats. And I said, oh my God, your cat is so beautiful. What's your IPI number? And he was like, that is the most random text I've ever got. But I had gotten it immediately. And from there, he was like, it's crazy. I will never forget you asked me that in beforehand. And now I know his IPI more than I know anyone else's. And it would be something that FIFA hit us for our song. I didn't even need him, because I knew all his information. So our FIFA deal went so fast that the next year we got him again. So we've had FIFA twice, because I know Machine Drum IBI before I know mine, and it's so easy to move. I think it's so important, especially if you have a producer you've worked with multiple times. If you know their name and you know their family, you should know their stuff. It's going to help you in the future, but that data, if you misspell or you miss it, it could determine whether you get paid on time, if you get the FIFA, if you get the sync, because nobody wants to deal with, you have a number wrong here and we don't know who you're using, or how many percentages is that? You lose the opportunity.
They'll move on to the next.
They'll move on to the next, because you're competing against everyone.
Right.
So just understand data is just as important as the lyrics. So right next to your lyrics, have the producer and the credits, and even if it's not the percentages yet, but you kind of feeling it, sort of, kind of, put something there until you can navigate what it actually will be, and then put that there right. I do it every time. So I'll have my lyrics, the producer's name, splits, all in the same, like, writing notepad, like on the sheet. Move on to the next. The great thing is I never really work with multiple producers when I'm working with my albums. I kind of stick to like one or two. But if you have multiple ones, get that thing there, and then you go to your lawyer and you'll say, hey, can you put up a contract with all of the splits and everything in one place? And then you say, all right, it's already written down. So now your team, they all know who getting what. Nobody's surprised. It's all written down in the contract, and it's there. Then you say, hey, management team, when they say, hey, can you send them everything, and they have it. Keep that thing, and if you really love administrative work, you can put that thing in a Dropbox, you can put that thing in Google Drive. You get real cute, you want to put it in an Excel sheet. Now you're having some fun. Doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound fun, but now that thing looks so pretty and organized and gorgeous, and now you don't ever have to look at that ugly ass sheet again, but it's there. And so when someone comes to you and they have a problem, you say, refer to. Leave me alone, I'm creating. Refer to that, and now it's there, and then you're publishing, everything is neat, and then you become the artist that everybody want to rock with because you're so organized. Now I'm saying that, my team, I love you, I'm doing my best to be that these days, but I have been that for as long as I could try to. It gets messy, it's never going to be perfect, but that's the aim. And I do feel like on my sinking side, I've been able to be that girl because I've been able to have that organization.
Can you just share your worksheet, your template with everybody in this room? And
I would love to do that for you. If you'd like me to, I can totally do that.
We'll do it.
I have a little
MLC
Excel,
portal.
but Google is my girl. Yeah, Google. I've become an administrative team girl. That was never my plan. I hate it. I also love my lawyer. She's helped me facilitate that a little bit better, but it is so attractive when you're able to keep that thing, because it is not fun trying to seek out a producer who sometimes, because creatives are weird like that. I know one producer, he have his moments. He's clean, and then one day he decides he's not anymore, and then I don't see him for 9 months, and I can't get him. Hell of a producer, but he's that guy. Everybody's like, yeah, I know that guy, I know that producer. You've had that producer. You don't want that. You don't want that, because that's your opportunity to be a part of something, and you lose it because your producer said he don't want to be clean for 9 months, or he just said he's gone, or he wants to leave. You don't want that journey. You want to be able to have all those things so you don't have to go find Philip and Joshua Tree because he has no cell service. These are things you know. I mean, this is the truth. Exactly, it's real.
He's on his ayahuasca.
Or he's on his ayahuasca journey, and You know, he ain't able to be found. And you're like, bro, we're trying to get a sync here. Where are you? Yeah.
I love it.
Real.
What's the biggest takeaway you want them all to leave with today? Like, if there's one or two things.
So I hate advice. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. I hate it because nobody knows what they're doing. But what I will say is this: nothing is exactly the same for each person. So when you're looking at these artists and you're saying, I want mine to go like that, or I want a career like that, or that's not real. Each person, like you over there, you could make it tomorrow and it just go for you. You over here might take 20 years for you to get to the spot where you're getting. The point is for you to navigate and curate the way in which you want to align your success, and then choose to decide what your success looks like. Don't let anyone else tell you what that is. When you do that, you'll win because you're navigating how you see yourself, not what the world or what they're telling you it's supposed to be. And if you don't like what it looks like, become the person to change it. Shift it. And if they don't build it for you, build it your goddamn self and make it work for you. An ecosystem is purposely there for you to create it. You can create your own ecosystem. If they're not hiring you, hire your damn self and build it, and then hire all the people around you to create something that works for you. Yeah?
Love it. Thank you so much.
I'll be here in 5 more seconds.
Here. Join the MLC. Register if you're not registered already. Please, 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 please. We have money for you. Yeah. Get it.
It's true.
It's true. Thanks so much for listening to Taking Care of Your Music Business. Don't forget, you can watch full video episodes on our YouTube channel, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.